Welcome back to 5 Minute Fantasy. We're going to talk about 5 tight end candidates to come back in 2024. But before we do that, make sure you go to Underdog Fantasy, use promo code FFSGPN, and we'll double your first deposit. So look at key performance indicators for the tight end position in 2023. Target share, that's the percentage of targets. You take all the combined targets for the team. What percentage went to this one player? Air yards, that is how far the ball travels when the quarterback throws it during a target, and red zone targets, targets that are in the red zone, within the 10-yard line. And let's look at these guys. Sam Laporta, the number 1 tight end last year in fantasy football, 3rd, 4th, and 4th. Check, check, check. Ingram, 1st, 6th, and 16th. Check, check, and not really check. But he still was number 2. We got Kelsey, 5th, and 2nd. Check, check, check. Hawkinson, 2nd, and 11th. You're looking for guys that can be top 2 targets on their offense. So when you look at an offense and you say, this guy's the 4th or 5th best option, unless a lot of people get hurt, it's very unlikely that there's a path for success for those guys. It happens. You get guys, you'll see Jake Ferguson down here, who was 1st in red zone targets. That helped elevate his production because of the touchdowns. We saw with Dalton Schultz a couple years ago in that same offense. You see it with Njoku, who had a huge end of the season. Not a lot of air yards, but a nice target share, a lot of red zone targets. So you're going to see a mix of it. But really, touchdowns are really, really hard to predict, and they're not sticky stats. Look for guys that are going to be top 2 on their teams in targets. So teams that have a not so great, they have a not so great receiving core. And of course, you're going to want good offenses with good quarterbacks that can get the ball down the field, and an athletic tight end that can do damage down the field. Some of these guys that are going to catch the ball and fall down, they're not going to pick up chunk plays, get a lot of yards. They're not going to get the 2 or 3 points per catch like these other guys. And then, of course, you need the touchdown production. And of course, Taysom Hill, that's an extreme outlier. Don't look at Taysom Hill for anything as far as predictive stats. Kyle Pitts, he was number 1 as far as air yards. This guy has the body, the movement of a receiver. This guy is the number 2 target on his offense. You have Drake London. Then you have Mooney. Kyle Pitts is the number 2, if not Bijan Robinson. And the huge upgrade at quarterback and offensive coordinator. Kyle Pitts, he had a great rookie season. But don't forget, this guy is just 23 years old. It feels like he's been in the league forever. Came to the league at 20, got 1,000 yards with Matt Ryan. He can do it again. Don't give up on Kyle Pitts. This guy is a stud and should be a stud for your fantasy football lineups. Mark Andrews, I don't think there's too much to say here. We all know Mark Andrews is a stud, but it was a pretty significant injury. I think you'll be able to see him come back with no problems. Then you got Hunter Henry. There's definitely a clear path for Hunter Henry to be the number 2 target, if not the number 1 target on this offense. We saw what Alex Van Pelt did with the tight end position last year in Cleveland. We've seen Jacoby Brissett target the tight end position back with Logan Thomas and other players. Hunter Henry could be in for a bounce back year, especially in PPR formats. I know it's not a sexy option, but he's a very, very affordable tight end that you can draft as your tight end 2 or 3 that's got some upside. Dallas Goedert. Dallas Goedert is the number 3 on his offense, but it's a fantastic offense, and he hits a lot of these markers. If he would have just played more games, he would easily have been in the top 10. This guy can do a lot of damage with the ball in his hands. He's a yak monster, and we've seen it. Whenever the teams are trying to cover A.J. Brown and trying to cover Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert owns the middle of the field. They don't have a steady option at the slot position. Dallas Goedert is going to be a stud. Don't give up on him. Pat Freiermuth, the last one. This team got rid of Deontay Johnson, a ton of targets. They brought in Van Jefferson and Roman Wilson. Van Jefferson is very unproven. Roman Wilson is a rookie. And Pat Freiermuth is one of those guys who really dominates in the red zone. See, if you can get the air yards to match the red zone targets and he stays healthy, he could be the number 2 target on this offense and could be in for a bounce back season. All right, we did it. 5 minutes. Good luck.